capital O, apostrophe capital D, A-N-I-E-L. My name's Cole Daniel, Mayor of City of Frankfort, South Dakota. I'm Cole Daniel, the Mayor of Frankfort, South Dakota. I actually grew up by Zell, South Dakota. Married a girl from over in this area, Zell, South Dakota, about 20 miles west of here. We're in the new bar and grill in Frankfort, South Dakota, Frankfort Bar and Grill. We're in the Frankfort Bar and Grill. The reason why we put up this facility was because we had there's other local business around the area, but they're all like within, 10, 20 miles from here for people to go out and eat, and then you gotta worry about driving home and all that stuff. And the other part is the community needed it. Not even just the city, but the community around, the farmers and everybody else. So we put together a plan and as the city group and kind of went with it. Well, it is, as you can look around, there ain't a bunch of like bar signs hanging up. It's community atmosphere. It's not just like a bar. It's a restaurant and a place for people to come talk, associate. We play cards every Tuesday night at 6:30 pitch. Just in the winter months, 8 weeks long. Just another get together. We play cards. People come in after getting to work in cattle and stuff, have their meals, harvesting crews. We do a lot of that. To-go meals for harvesters, planting. We do benefit stuff, like we donate a lot of food at cost through our our supplier, I should say. And he works well with us too, and we donate back to the community that way also. The city council and there's a few city people involved with it also, and then plus a lot of the farmers around the area that wanted it. So how we went about it, we kind of all got together, drew a plan out, did a few runs, went and priced out some buildings at 3 different places. And we kind of sat down, did some numbers, and then we got in touch with Margot on the basic board, and she kind of got us geared in that right direction as far as what we need and how we can make it work and if we can make it work. And we kind of sat down, and another part on the basic board would be Dane. He come and helped us too. So we had to make sure we could cash flow it to make sure it worked, because otherwise, it wasn't. And that's the other part why we had a city meeting about what we were planning on doing. We just didn't throw it together. So we did what do you want to call it? We did a town meeting and community meeting. The farmers, everybody could come in, and we had it over here at the community center, and we all voted on it, and it all went through. So we went ahead with the project. Oh yeah, there's plenty of questions asked about how we'd run it, how it being owned by the city would affect everything else, and how there was another person with me. I could ask them other questions, but the biggest thing is the questions that we had were to make sure that it wasn't going to be a failure, because nobody likes failure. So that was my biggest fear, I guess, even starting this project. 143, I believe, or 142. There's probably 50% of them don't. You drive right by them because there ain't no reason to stop, or they have no reason to move here. If you like to be in the suburb, you're 10 miles out from the biggest town we got. He goes, but you still have nothing. You can't even, before we had this, we couldn't even get a pop in town. So that's the biggest reason why we needed and nobody even talked to anybody. You drove by the road and you waved at them, that was it. So it's more of to get everybody together too. And we got people coming 20 miles away just to come over here and visit and have supper. But we had the community center, but also that was just, you have birthday parties there and stuff. It still wasn't, you couldn't go over there and socialize and, have a few cocktails and stuff like that too. The biggest risk that I would say that were involved with this project was, number one, money. That's always the key factor. Who's gonna run it? How are we gonna manage it? How are we gonna cash flow it? And the other big thing is, are people gonna want it? Because otherwise, if there ain't the want ain't there, the need sure that ain't gonna be there. So basic come into our environment as far as with this project, but we've had relationship with them before we even started this, and that's kind of how we kind of got geared to do this. Because somebody else has already done it, obviously. We are not the first people to do what we did in a small town, but so to hear the stories that she's told, it helped us make our big decision. The biggest specific was the cash flow side of it. As far as the building, we had enough people with the know-how and to do what we did here, but as far as like doing the cash flow, Margot helped us out a lot with that and getting just what we needed to do to initially run a business. Yep. We were open last October, so we're 13, 14 months into it. I would say because we got a pretty decent payment for as far as our, with our equipment payment, our building payment, it adds up. The bar's doing fine, but there's times where, it's down there. But you get ups and downs. It's part of the restaurant business. You can ask, a lot of people, even the big restaurants are that way. If we wouldn't have the support, we wouldn't have this. It wouldn't be able to cash flow. It wouldn't work. It takes the people in the town and the surrounding people to make it all work. To me, it's a 10 just because of everything that we put into it. I would say the Frankfort Bar and Grill is a 10. Actually, we have talked to a couple different, they've come and looked at our project, and I don't know if they're going to make a go of it or if they want to, but I know we've had 2 or 3 different towns come and look at our facility just to kind of see what we did and how we did it. And my takeaway when I told them what we did and how we did it, they thought they could do something like that, get enough people in their community to help put up a building or put up a business, whatever you want to call it. Like I grew up in Zell, South Dakota, which is about 20 miles west of here, and we had a local little bar, no food, no nothing. Just a bar where everybody got together and socialized. As soon as that bar shut down, there's nobody in Zell. The town there's 6 people that live there now. And there used to be 25 people that live there, plus the surrounding area. But nobody even comes to the town. It just goes away if you don't have something to keep people there. And businesses like this do keep towns like this surviving, because otherwise, if you don't have money rolling in other than just your sewer water bills, stuff like that, and garbage, I ain't gonna keep it. You can't keep upgrading like the streets and everything else if you don't have something keeping your revenue and keeping everything going. So we did another project that we're working on. We kind of got half of that done down here at the ballparks. We did this through Basic also. We put in new poles, new lights, and we kind of started that as our central hub. And then now we got done, just put in 12 or 13 camper spots. So we could have facilities for like when we have something going on here in town, or reunions, weddings, anything like that. We have camper spots for everybody to stay at. But we're not all the way done finished down there. Our next project down there is to work on, we're putting in new bathrooms. And then after we get the bathrooms, then we'll work on the fence. We can't afford to keep doing it all. You can't do it all in one project. You need Basic in your community, otherwise it's hard to get that funding. Other than just the funding, just the help. They know where to go to get what you need for the information on, whether it be money, help, structure. I would call the biggest thing is their structure. They can help you with anything. Oh yeah. Basic, we met, or Margot's our biggest one, and Dane Lambert, he's another local person from in town that them two are go-to Basic because he's on the board, and Margot is our lead Basic person, and she helped us quite a bit on getting everything ready to roll and keeping us going. Frankfort is on its way. That's why we're doing what we're doing, to keep this town moving. And if you don't have people to come help, you can't pay people to come help, and you can't afford to do it. So if you can't get community involvement, it's hard to do. And we do have that here in town. Sometimes it's hard. You gotta. It's either you. So we get together as a group and we make a plan and we just go for it. My hope for this community would be that I would say that I hope even after we're gone. I hope people just keep growing and growing. That's the biggest reason why we did this. This city-owned bar too is another thing. As long as it's city, everything's with the city, it can't be shut down. That way people always got something. Because we used to have one of these in town, and he could shut the doors whenever he wanted, and nobody'd have no place to go. At least this way, it's city-owned and it's city-run. Well, that's an interesting question, because it'd be really hard. If we didn't have Margot's drive, we probably wouldn't have. It took her to get us, she pointed us in the right direction. My biggest deal, I would say, is to thank everybody for all their help. That's the biggest thing. All the community people that helped. It's on and on. You can't even list them all.